think we're pretty close here. Let's adjust that a little bit. Okay, howdy folks, welcome back. So, if you haven't seen my last video that I put out a little earlier today, I'm doing a little retraction and a little apology because I made a mistake and we're making some corrections here, okay? I did some research and I finally got this tool to open up, and these red rings that we're seeing here are not temperature. This scale is for winds, okay? So these red circles are not heat signatures on the bottom of the ocean floor. These are not heat signatures. These are wind currents going around. These are like walls and bands from the typhoon, okay? So I'm making a correction. That was my bad. And there's some teachable moments in here. This is an instrument I used to use for looking at other stuff, and when I was over here, I noticed this big red spiral thing and was like, whoa, I've never seen that before. So I tried to find out what was going on, and I didn't do my research thoroughly because I rushed into it. So, lesson learned. So now that we know that this is wind and not the heat anomaly, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the spot anymore, the South Pole, okay? So listen closely. Just because these are not heat signatures does not mean that all the physics, the whole list that I gave you, is not true. All it means is this is a different reading than I thought, okay? And it still could be. It is a hurricane slash typhoon down here in the southern hemisphere, but it could still be a wandering pole underneath. We don't know for sure, okay? But what I do know is that the readings that this chart is giving are not temperatures, those are wind, okay? So that was my bad, and I apologize. And when we're doing research like this, it's important that when we make mistakes, we find them, we admit them, and we take responsibility for them, unlike a lot of people on the face of this planet haven't figured that out yet. That way we can correct it and move forward now, okay? So I hope you guys are listening. This is a correction. I made one earlier today, but it doesn't necessarily rule out our theory, okay? All it means is that these are winds and not heat. Thank God. I am so grateful to be wrong on this one. Do you guys understand this? Why I'm happy to be wrong on this one? I think you do. But we still have an issue because we have our list is being fulfilled. Okay? We learned a lot from this storm. A lot of my theories were proven right on this storm. I believe this storm is a precursor to an event we will see when the pole shift does happen, okay? I would expect when the pole shift does happen, and if I kind of believe these guys that they think it's going to be right about here. When I did my physics and my calculations, I agree. It should show up right around here. These poles are migrating, and when you follow the migration path, the target point is right over here off the coast of Indonesia. What is this, Java, I think? We'll look it up later. Anyways, it should be right around there. And that is why when I saw this circular formation right next to that spot, not right on it, but right next to it, oh man, especially when we're going into a magnetic reversal, I thought for sure that this was a new pole being established. So listen closely again. I retract that because I don't want to scare the shit out of everybody. I'm trying to get this right, okay? It's important that I keep my integrity because there are other things that I am trying to show you, and I don't want something stupid like this messing up my integrity. Do you understand that point, you guys? Okay, there's a teachable moment here, okay? And I'm doing the right thing by admitting I made a mistake. But let's learn from it and move forward. Okay, so one other thing I wanted to address, I really don't address this much. I see a lot of other people doing. But I got a comment today that said, ha ha, gotcha. This is not a laughing matter. This is not ha ha, got you. I made a mistake by misinterpreting an instrument that I did not know all the proper settings and readings on. Okay? This does not change this right here, okay? Can you see Jesus in the clouds right here? Tilt your head to the right. Here's his eye, here's an eye, here's his nose, here's his chin and his beard, here's his hair flowing back, okay? Here's his face and his hair flowing back, and a crown hovering over his head, okay? So the fact that I misread a simple instrument does not change this, okay? The fact that this is not the South Pole, thank God, does not change this, okay? Whatsoever, one little tiny bit, all right? What does change is the way we interpret this map now, okay? Whew. I needed to get that out, you guys, because that's so important to me that you guys understand. I am trying to show you the truth and be truthful about it. I'm not here to deceive you and scare you. This is not a fear-mongering channel, although I show the scariest shit in the world. Okay, so now we cleared the air there, okay? That's what I'm doing right now with this live stream right here in front of everybody, in front of the whole world. I admit my mistake in front of the whole world. I take responsibility, and now I make amends by correcting it and moving forward. Thank you. Now, let's move on, because the important thing that happened here, as we learned, I have figured out how to decipher what these are finally. When you put your thing on here, it's telling you what it means, okay? So now we can go to our proper settings, understanding what this color bar means now. Now we can move forward. Now I'm going to go back to when I used to use this instrument for a different reason, okay? So let me go over to my settings here. Where did I have it? It was air, and then we were particulates. Yes, and down here, particulates. No. I want chemicals. Sorry. There we go. And that's not chemtrails. That's different chemicals like, what's this one? Carbon monoxide surface concentration. This is carbon dioxide surface concentration. Here is sulfur dioxide surface mass. This is the one I want to use. I'm looking for sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide is emitted by volcanoes and by the ground where there is activity underneath it. Okay? So now we are getting a true reading from this instrument from what we want to look at. And I'm going to zoom in here to our west coast, and let's see here if we get it in tight enough to you can get a reference here. Okay, hopefully you guys are seeing this a little. Well, let me go and just tab it tighter. I'm trying to see on the screen. Okay, let me give you a reference point. This is Lake Tahoe. Here is the Bay Area, okay? This is the coastline of California. The top of California is this point sticking out. So California goes over to Tahoe, comes down, and it turns right here at Tahoe and runs down like this, okay? So this map got blurry compared to what I was showing earlier. But as we back out, we have an anomaly down here, down by a little further south of Mammoth. Let me see what happened to my... It used to have a better picture of this real quick. Nope. All right, well, let me just get out of there real quick. And then, this was not this fuzzy before. Anyways, there was one down here, just south of Mammoth, and then we had another one at Mount Hood in Oregon, okay? So those two places I want to put on, not on alert, but just keep your guys' head on a swivel. There was sulfur dioxide being emitted from down here, down by probably Mount McKinley area maybe or something, and then there was one up here at Mount Hood, okay? This didn't turn out the proper way that I was looking for. There it is, right there. Okay, here we go. That's the one I wanted. That's the one that's on the thumbnail. Okay, here we go. Do the overlay. Okay, here's Tahoe. Here's the Bay Area. Here's Half Moon Bay. Okay, it's straight across from Half Moon Bay, east of the Tahoe of this line right here. Okay, so this is in the Sierra Nevadas. I tried to zoom in on the location here. Let's go over to use the USGS map. I want to go to the terrain real quick. Yes. Oops, too fast. All right. So here we are. Tahoe, I went a little too tight. How do I get rid of the rest of this? There we go. So here we are. Here's Tahoe. Here's Half Moon Bay. So we went over to the straight line with Tahoe right to here, and then it's over a little further. So it's here in the mountains, just south of Mammoth down here. So you guys might know what area or what mountain is right across from here, because that's where our sulfur dioxide is emanating from. Watch out for some kind of possible earthquake or volcanic activity in this area. Then, as we went up here, just south of the border with Washington here, right where the Columbia River comes out. Where is it on this map? Oh, I can't find it now. I'm too zoomed in. Anyways, right by Portland, we had at Mount Hood another one of these sulfur dioxide emissions, okay? So now we're trying to use this map in its proper function, okay? And we'll go back to using it for what I was using it for. Yeah, this one up here has dissipated now. It was nice and dark like the other one right there. Can you see it now? We're going a little tighter. Yeah, I believe that's Mount Hood. So it's faded a little bit. Okay, is this camera too dark? What is going on with my screen? I guess it does not pick up this filter at all. Well, that's great. All right, out of here. So let's back out of here. And we'll go back over to our other setting. Sorry, that's why I was late. I'm not set up. I was extremely busy today and haven't even looked at anything yet. So I didn't even get to do research. I just get to do my apology tour. Now, back to where we were. I want to go out of the chem to the air and back to this one. I want to put the wind currents back in here. We're going to zoom back out because I wanted to also report on our polar anomaly going on here, okay? And we have some extreme, crazy split polar vortex. So we have a split vortex right now. That could be an indication. A split vortex could be an indication of a pole migration, right? Because now it's kind of dividing its power into two different parts. So the North Pole could be struggling for which side it wants to choose as it starts to wander, causing this kind of effect way up high, okay? So yeah, there's our freaked out polar jet, and look what it's doing here. It's going over Britain, Europe, all over this area right here. It's circling around this central spot like it was just a few days ago. Let me, gosh darn it, pull it down there, and the winds can follow. There we go. So now you're seeing here our central spot right here with our rotation back again, and just odd weather. Okay, so again, this is not the surface or underneath the crust. That's what I would love to have right now. But until I find an instrument, or maybe you guys out there want to be part of the team help me locate an instrument or something that finds the surface temperature of the crust. What the hell is this? Ah, turn this off. Get out of my way. You guys see these circular rings right here? You see it now, just off of Hawaii here? Alright? And I'm gonna not make the same mistake. I'm gonna tell you, I don't know what that is. Alright? But we have some kind of circular ring activity going on around Hawaii, which would be winds, right? Slow and green winds. Maybe there's another storm or tropical storm forming around there. Look at these arcs up here too. This is okay. I just see things like this that are odd. They catch my eye, and it's like, this does not look normal. I'm wondering if our geomagnetic excursion type thing is causing some of this activity. So, nonetheless, this is a huge, huge hurricane, and I know that it will increase. This, wherever it hits, is going to destroy it. Probably Madagascar. But it has been creeping very slowly for a typhoon. Sorry, not hurricane, typhoon. But this thing is massive. I mean, look how we back out of it. It's like the red spot on Jupiter, huh? Doesn't that remind you of the red spot on Jupiter? Wasn't that one of the side effects on our list? That the spot on Jupiter disappeared and then a new spot formed? A junior? Could this be like our own spot forming like Jupiter did? It's at the same latitude, too. Oh, you know what? I think it is. I'm going to have to go check real quick. It just occurred to me the spot on Jupiter compared to Jupiter's equator, it's at about the same position. Don't you guys agree? If I put it right there, and we took away all the states and everything, wouldn't it be Jupiter? Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to have to look a little further into that before I do more reporting on it, okay? So, there was that. Now, we covered this. Now let's go on to a solar report because we now have activity going on the sun again, and it's time to do one of these. So we're, whoopsie, put this in forward, thank you. And we'll zoom in on it. We'll do all that stuff. Let the loop play real quick. You can see we've had this CME down here. Looks like it might be coming our way. That thing that blew off the side was pretty good. It was fast. This one's slow. Look how slow that one's moving. And then that one's already almost out of frame. That's how quickly it moved out, okay? Let me zoom in on this for you guys. That should be good. All right. Let me get our color and everything just right. Thank you for hanging in there, guys. I apologize for my misreporting there. Like I said, I don't want to scare the shit out of everybody, but things are happening, and we got to be on our toes. I'm trying to report the best I can. All right, so here we are with our first CME. If we back up just a little bit, some kind of round formation here, dark patch over there, same kind of setup that we're used to seeing. So now let's go forward from here as it starts to emerge. Our instrument's reacting to it. This is February 16th today, 2023. As we go forward, you can see we had our CME coming out. A nice round shape right here. You guys know what to look for. All right. There it goes. Causing this CME. We got all this plasma coming out. Then we have this one, really fast one. Here's our, what appears to be our dark patch right there. on the next frame, see how it's put the dent in the red line like we typically see? So our object, I believe, is right in here. It's cloaked still with some plasma. But over on this side, you can see our round dark patch, corresponding dark patch, okay? So, apparently we may have had another object come out right there. I would love to see Planet X do his filter and see what we captured in this event. And if it was this one, that one, what? So, we've had two big CMEs here, okay? This one is a slow mover. It's still underway. Well, that other one blew out of there and it's already gone. All right, so you saw our CME. Now, as we get to here, let me take a sip here. Uh-oh, I did not see that latest reading. See, I haven't even gotten to read these yet today, so you guys are going through this as I'm my first look at them today. Not good. So here we go. We were C range, having small little M flares. Good. Today we had one. Here's an M flare, just barely M. This one looks identical. So there's our two flares from today that I just showed you. Okay. And here we have dropped down to the seafloor again. That's a little concerning for me because I saw some activity that happened from it before. So here we are on the seafloor right now. Not good. All right, now, oopsie. Well, let me go. Okay, let's go over to the Schumann here. Schumann's looking good and strong. Here, let's just get a little zoom in on it real quick. We had a few screeches, but you can see our line is doing nice and strong and healthy. Maybe a little fading, right, that little white dot area right here. But that looks like a little scratch or something. But anyways, a little fading right in there, but we're still plugging along barely, which is good news as well. Okay, let me get back out of here. Oh, there was one last thing back here I wanted to show you. Yeah, let's go back here. Bear with me for a second. All right, so I want to go down here and show you the CME tracker. And we'll zoom in on this. Okay, here we are. Whoops. Here's the second CME. The one that shot off really fast is going... Come on now. Play games with me. There we go. So, they don't show the first one. They show this second one heading away from us, which is a good thing because we don't want any CMEs hitting us right now, especially with our weakened magnetic field, okay? So here's our CME tracker. The second one seems to be going away. The first one, I'm not sure what direction it's going, but we will try to find out more on that one. They always, the one that's most dangerous is the one they don't report on, so. And then they are surprised when something hit us that they didn't expect, so. Now, let's move on past that. I showed you the, I showed you the Schumann. We did this one. Okay, and I showed you the earthquake. Well, wait. I just used the map for reference. But while we got it pulled up, let's just take a little peek at what's going on around the planet here real quick as I back out. Looking pretty quiet. We'll go check on Turkey here and see what's going on. They're still having earthquakes. Put this back up. Okay. What's this one? All right. Oh, well. There we go. So, that's a 5.2. Zoom in a little more. Bring it over. All right. There's our 5.2. Let's see what the smallest one is. 4.8. 4.1. 4.5. So they're still having decent sized quakes over here. That nothing under a 4 yet. Still, Nothing under a 4 yet. So their activity is still chugging along. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to show you. So what I will do is I will come over here. Hopefully you guys have seen this video already. I've played it in many of my shows. This is the most important information we've had in the last 2,000 years. It tells you in the Bible, when you see these things start to happen, look up. Well, you look up and lo and behold, here he is in the clouds, his crown signifying power and great glory. So this event happened on Easter of 2020. The significance of that should shake you to the core. All right? So the fact that we don't have the pole forming yet doesn't really matter in the big picture, because this is the big picture right here. Now, something else I want to go back to was, Bennett's Suspicious Observers did a report today that I heard subliminally, and the tail end of his report, yes, I believe it's this one. Ben, I'm going to use your stuff for educational purposes because I'm agreeing with you on some of this stuff. We disagree on some, but our physics together are of utmost importance.
Great tie.
No! Terrible ad.
Look at them. Blissfully unaware.
Yeah, blissfully unaware.
I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into one of the stories we covered this morning on the polar mesospheric echoes. Now, in terms of the atmospheric layers, we have the troposphere where we are, the stratosphere at the top of the sky, and then where that really starts to shift from neutral atmosphere that we breathe to the ionosphere and layers like that is called the mesosphere. That's where these polar echoes are discovered. And
polar echoes are discovered in the mesosphere. That's what these are. These are the echoes captured in the up there by the Schumann. This is the core of the Earth spinning inside its shell that creates the electromagnetic hum at 7.83 hertz, okay? And this is an echo that he's referring to. Now back to what he's saying. He's very complex in here, so I'm trying to do it little bits at a time so you can understand what he's saying here, okay? So let's back up a tad and start again.
That's where these polar echoes are discovered. And we're just going to dive right into some of the background from this, and we're going to pull, at least from the beginning, from the Observer Supplement here. These first couple of images I took right out of the book. A lot of good stuff in there, by the way. But let's just dive right into it here. So we have these polar mesospheric summer echoes. There are also winter echoes, but the summer echoes are the ones that are really more important. We started noticing that they were becoming very complex. They were becoming more prevalent, and they were starting to spread to lower and lower latitudes away from...
Okay, you hear that? Those echoes are starting to spread to lower and lower latitudes on the planet, okay? It used to be just up at the North Pole, but now they're detecting those echoes all the way down to lower latitudes.
From the polar region. Now, initially, the hypothesis was blaming increased carbon dioxide, causing a cooling of the mesosphere. And CO2 is, in their model, supposed to cool the atmosphere at high altitude. But there's a problem with this. These polar mesospheric echoes are directly correlated with the electric charge of the ambient mesosphere. And
okay, he's talking about our mesosphere that the Schumann is reading, right, is detecting. He was talking about the summertime, how it has more activity or whatever. They think it's because of CO2, but he's going to tell you they're wrong. And I'm going to agree with him. They are wrong.
These polar mesospheric echoes are directly correlated with the electric charge of the ambient mesosphere and with ice and dust particles. So the initial hypothesis was rooted in the idea that if CO2 cools that area of the atmosphere, you could have more ice and ergo more radar echoes. But the problem is that the mesosphere is already somewhere around negative 100, negative 130 degrees Fahrenheit, negative 90 or below in terms of Celsius. There's no more ice to be made. Doesn't matter if there's a slight cooling due to CO2, you're not going to get any more ice than you already have up there. And so that explanation of CO2 is really not so great. But we go and we look at the idea that it's about the electric charge of the mesosphere as well, and ice and dust particles. So this favors two concepts that really go together. Higher electric charge due to Earth's weakening magnetic field, more solar particles, more cosmic rays coming in and actually juicing up the atmosphere. This is something we have seen and been talking about for quite some time. So there's
Okay, that's what the part I wanted you to hear about those particles juicing up the atmosphere. Let's back up.
Juicing up magnetic field, more solar particles together. So this favors two concepts that really go together. Higher electric charge due to Earth's weakening magnetic field, more solar particles, more cosmic rays coming in and actually juicing up the atmosphere. This is something we have seen and been talking about for quite some time. So there's the extra electric charge. And of course, we are seeing extra dust in interplanetary space in the upper corona, the upper level atmosphere of the sun. And we would be expecting this dust to be arriving with the galactic current sheet. And so if we've got more dust particles from the galactic current sheet and more electric charge from losing Earth's magnetic field.
We have more electric charge from Earth losing its magnetic field. Okay, you got to listen closely to what this guy says because he's admitting to some stuff here. Okay, this stuff that he's talking about all correlates with the core slowing down and possibly reversing. Okay, we have an issue with the core, and all of these side effects and all of the physics and stuff that I've been showing you indicate that's the case. He is also indicating the case. He retracted. At first he was excited that the core was moving backwards, but then they realized, whoops, oh shit. Then they have to retract. But he's still trying to tell you. So let me continue just a little bit. I'm sorry if this is boring you guys here. Let me find the part that I was looking for. I think it's right about here at the end. So
this is a key sign that Earth's magnetic field is really weakening. And so when we got this paper this morning, talking about how the winter echoes and the summer echoes were really dependent on some of the key things, but actually it's the summer echoes that were more impacted by the high frequency heating, basically high energy electron bombardment. This is again talking about the fact that there is more energy from space coming in. There is a weaker magnetic field.
There's more energy from space coming in, and there's a weaker magnetic field. He's admitting it. We're all detecting it. It's coming true, and he's telling you the stuff that's on that list. So listen.
And this paper actually goes on to talk about some of the geomagnetic modulation of the echoes. Essentially, this is probably one of the most important. It's not necessarily too impactful on our daily lives at this point, but it's one of those indications that the planet is really reacting in a significant way to the ongoing magnetic pole shift.
Did you hear what he just said? The planet is really reacting to an ongoing magnetic pole shift. All right, I'm not crazy when I'm talking about this. This is your respected scientist in the community, whatever, with all his papers and stuff, agreeing. Okay, he's trying to do it as sly as he can without coming out and say it, I think. All right, so we're getting the scientific community on board here, learning about this stuff too. Okay, so we are having issues, and this storm right here is going to be an issue for somebody. Something strange about this storm. We had that strange earthquake. I don't know if you guys watched Mike from Around the World tonight. You should go over and watch him. In fact, I think maybe I'll, in this video, in the link, or in the description, I'll put the link to that show and the link to Ben's little speech there if you want to listen to it. So we are... we're seeing what we're seeing. Okay, now I think maybe we will just go one more step further here for you guys so you will totally understand what is going on. Let me think. I believe it's right here. Bear with me as we find... where to go. Oh, dang it. Hang on, just give me 1 second here. Right, there it is. Right there. To show what's going on in this picture. Hopefully. Okay, let's back up a little bit. This is a stellar core that passed by the sun. It's sucking material off the sun. It's so big that it actually is behaving like a black hole. A black hole is not a hole in the fabric of space and time like they teach you in Hollywood. A black hole is actually a super dense, burned out star, the stellar core left over from a burned out star that is so dense and so super packed with mass that it bends and absorbs light. It doesn't reflect light. So in this video, we're going to go back up here and I'm going to show you this real quick. This is for new subscribers and stuff that are on board. I saw I got some new subscribers here, and so you guys need to catch up. We'll get you up to speed. This is Nibiru, and I'll describe it here in this video here. You guys ready for this?
Folks, welcome back. So, real quick here, let's just scroll down to the date. Whoops. Alright, never mind. I'll show you the date later. Here is an image captured back on September 10th of 2017. Now this is an X flare that was like an X 9.7 or something. There were 3 X flares in a row, and this X flare was the third in a series of X flares that happened just as we were about to go into a grand solar minimum. Not just a regular solar minimum, but a grand solar minimum that's supposed to last like 11 years or whatever, did not pan out. As we were entering this grand minimum, the sun kicked out 3 of these giant X flares. This is the third in the series of flares, and in this image is captured Nibiru. Now, from a lot of my latest stuff, you know I've been talking about these black objects that are, you know, taking plasma off the sun. Well, in this image right here, there's Nibiru captured, and I'll go into detail about it later, but for right now, here's our object right here. There's plasma draping down the front side of it right here. There's a ring of plasma going around it, a faint little halo going around the object. The object itself is super dark and black. It kind of looks red in this image, but they're super dark. And you can make out a plasma wing coming off on this side. And let's zoom in real quick. I don't know how well my camera's going to capture this, but I want you to try to look. Tilt your head to the right a little bit. There's another glowing wing pointing back, a corresponding wing corresponding to this one. This is the winged planet Nibiru right here. Okay, and you can, like I said, tilt your head to the right. You can see this one arching back a little bit this way, and this one curving back like that. They almost look like little wings or almost little ears or something on it. Okay, and then I'm going to pull back a little bit from that so you guys can see it a little clearer. Okay. And I'll leave it right there for now. That looks good. Alright, right there you can see it. Now, as this event unfolded, something else I need to point out here, and I need you guys to bear with me while I try to do this here. Okay, so this is the fabled winged planet Nibiru, and I'm not much of a Nibiru fan. You know, I wasn't a big believer in Nibiru until God led me to this image and showed me what was going on in here. So now what I want to do is we're going to go to Revelation 12 here in the Bible.
Now pay attention, you guys.
I have it ready right here. Okay. Now what I want to try to do here is just pull back and see if we can read Revelation 12 here real quick. All right. It says, "A great and wondrous sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed in the sun with the moon at her feet and a crown of 12 stars on her head. She was pregnant and cried out in pain as she was about to give birth." Hang on, one page. She was about to give birth. Then another sign appeared in heaven. So there were two signs. The woman is one of them that we know about that happened on September 23rd of 2017. If you don't know about that, I will add a link to a video about the Revelation 12 star alignment in the description of this video. So it says, then another sign appeared in heaven, an enormous red dragon with the 7 heads, 10 horns, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it sounds like this appeared after the woman. But if we go down here a little bit, it says, the dragon stood in front of the woman who was about to give birth so that he might devour her child. The dragon stood in front of the woman. It stood before the woman. It stood in front of the woman. This event happened 13 days before the Revelation 12 star alignment. This is the dragon of Revelation 12. This is the fabled winged planet Nibiru. And that's not all, because more was captured in this. Okay, so let's see here if I can zoom out real quick, because I want you guys to see down below here. Here's the date. This is September 10th of 2017. This is 13 days before the Revelation 12 star alignment that happened. Everybody saw the woman, but no one saw the dragon. Everyone missed the dragon. Here it is. I captured the dragon, or NASA actually captured the dragon. They don't even know it, but they captured the dragon on the Stereo A satellite on September 10th of 2017, right in the time frame that the Bible speaks of this event happening. Whew, it's a mouthful. I got a lot to say, so just bear with me. So, not only is this object captured there, and I hope you guys can see what I'm talking about. This dark inner circle right here with a nice ring of plasma going around it. It's got plasma draping around the front face of it right here. If you look carefully, you can see that the sun's southern pole is making a connection to the southern pole of this one. There's a northern pole reach coming off the top of this, reaching to the sun's northern pole. So this thing is making a magnetic connection with the sun. You can see the magnetic loop right here. It's connecting a whole loop right there. So this is the real thing. This is what was foretold in the Bible. So now we're going to go forward just a little bit here. And sitting there describing it in this video. I'm just leaving the sound off. Well, here. Well, I guess there's no sound. But later on here, something else is captured. Okay. Boom.
Oh man, it's not
I want
picking
you
up.
guys to take a minute to look at this image nice and carefully. Because what we have here is a much bigger object back here behind the sun. This is a conduit of plasma that's connecting. It's taking plasma off of the sun. This little white circle represents the sun, the size of the sun. You can see this conduit of plasma that it's sucking off of the sun. It's hitting this big object. This is a stellar core. This is our binary twin that's burned out. This is a huge core of a star that's left over, that's been burned out. Now it's sucking plasma from our sun, trying to reignite again. This material is like in a phase where it's sucking in electrons to get back to its normal state. It's super energy depleted. Okay? And then right here at the base of this cone, this cone-shaped conduit of plasma, at the base of it is a damage ring of this plasma slamming into the surface and spreading out in a round circular damage ring or an impact zone. Then right here you can see this red circular spheroid. That's Nibiru standing out in front of Nemesis back here. Okay, and if you look at the size of this white circle, this represents the size of the sun. Look how much bigger this is. And it's still back behind the sun. It's not right next to it. You can tell this is at an angle. It's like 45 degrees back behind the sun still. So it's not even right next to the sun, and it's that big compared to the size of our sun. The sun's the biggest thing in our solar system, and it has more mass than all of the planets. The sun is mainly the most of the mass of our solar system. This thing is 5 to 10 times bigger than our sun. It has more mass than our entire solar system.
You guys get that?
Hope you guys are seeing this image. Now maybe if I zoom out.
Sorry, we'll have to do this. Come over to this video, Nibiru here.
Well,
You come over to this video here.
let me know in the chat room if
I'll
you
show
guys can see what I just described. Give me
I'll
a
post
second
it
here. I made a
in the
drawing.
description.
I wasn't prepared tonight. Let me see if I can find this drawing real quick.
Yeah, here's a drawing that I'm about to present that depicts this image to help you guys see what's going on here, because this is kind of hard to see.
Okay. Thanks for bearing with me there. Here, let's try this real quick. All right, this is a representation. This is a drawing I made to represent of what I'm talking about. Okay, can you guys see this shape going on right here? I'm not the best artist in the world, but this is a rendition I tried to do to show what's going on in this picture. Hopefully, oops, is it showing? There we go. That's a little better.
All right. Can you guys see what I'm talking about? This is the conduit of plasma that's sucking from the North Pole and the South Pole of the Sun. It took it all from both sides and sucked right into this, and when it slammed into the surface of this stellar core, this black hole, it fits the definition of a black hole, all right? When it slammed into the surface of this, it spreads out in this round shape like a damage ring or an impact zone. This is an impact zone of plasma slamming into the surface and spreading out in all directions, okay? So it has an impact zone on the surface of it from plasma slamming into it. This is like the other stellar core that we call Nibiru or whatever is orbiting this black hole, okay? This is what they can see. This is what they can't see, okay? This thing is so massive, it has so much mass, and it's so dense that it bends and absorbs light. So if it absorbs light, that means it can't reflect light. If it can't reflect light, you can't see it. Say the light in your living room is coming off the ceiling, it bounces off the floor and goes into your eye. If the floor absorbed the light, you wouldn't be able to see the floor. This thing is almost invisible, okay? There's another property that it enjoys as well called gravitational lensing. That's used, that effect happens with a massive gravitational field, okay? This thing creates its own massive gravitational field doing gravitational lensing. And what it does, it appears to be see-through because it is taking light from behind it, bending it around and projecting it to the front because it's a sphere. Okay, it's a perfect round shape. So it can take light from the back and put it on the front and appear to be see-through. So not only is it see-through, it doesn't reflect light either, making it almost impossible to see. The only way you can see this is when it interacts with the sun and plasma drapes over it. Like, I liken it to an invisible table. You can't see an invisible table, but if you throw a tablecloth over it, it paints the edges and the lines and the corners and the contour, right? That's the same effect you're seeing here. It's not absorbing all the light, but it is bending light over the top, isn't it? I wish I could zoom in on this. I'll have to go look this image up. This frame right here is hard to find anymore. They have scrubbed this frame from so many sites, so that's why I keep referring to my videos. It's hard to find this frame. This is Stereo A on September 10th of 2017. You can see the timestamp and everything. I dare you guys to go try to look up this frame because you will see that this image is really hard to find. Okay? And for good reason. So, now the fact that we got this little these winds and the heat thing wrong, that really is a mouse fart compared to that, don't you think? All right. So, another beautiful thing about this mistake right here is we learned so much. It completed my work, and that list where we stopped at like 12 and left a gap down to 15 and 16, that video that Ben just did is going to help fill in those other places, and it's going to happen on our earth, and we'll be able to detect it now. We'll be able to know what to look for now. This was like a precursor. This is like a little hint that God's dropping. Know what to look for. You're going to see a signature like this. Okay? So we're not off the hook yet. This could still possibly be our new southern pole establishing itself wherever it's going. It could wander just like a hurricane and go wherever it's going. But if it doesn't diminish and it keeps growing in strength, we're still looking at this, okay? This is very, very, very suspicious, okay? Just like the earthquake we had. These are all signs that we have a core reversal. And a core reversal, like I was explaining the other night, plus a magnetic reversal at the same time could be catastrophic crustal displacement, crustal reversal, okay? And that's what I fear is getting close, and I'm going to do my best to come to you guys with truthful information, okay? I'm not here to deceive you. I'm here to inform you, and if you guys see something and you see a mistake I've made, please let me know. I love criticism, just constructive criticism, not ha gotcha, because this ain't no ha gotcha moment, okay? So, lessons learned. I hope you guys were paying attention, because I love you all and I miss you all, and I'm trying to warn you all when this stuff happens to keep you guys aware, all right? So you're not scared, you're prepared. That's it for tonight. I think I can spit out no more. I think I showed you guys quite enough, and you understand this is a side effect of the object that is interacting with our sun, okay? So that's it for now. I love you all. I hope you enjoyed this stream. I apologize for my mistakes, and I always try to correct them, okay? So know that if I make a mistake, you guys call me on it. I'll try to correct it, all right? Love you all, and that's it for tonight. God bless, and I'll see you next video. Bye.